is Rochelle, and I'd like to share about my November 2018 Christmas Market Danube River Cruise with AmaWaterways, which was aboard the Ama Serena. My husband, Chris, and I, we flew into Budapest, and we spent a couple of days on our own to explore the Christmas markets before the cruise itinerary was scheduled to embark from Vienna. Different ports of call along the way on this itinerary included Milk, famous for its abbey, Linz, Dürnstein, a scenic afternoon of cruising through the Wachau Valley, and then overland excursions from ports of call included Bratislava and my favorite, Český Krumlov. The cruise disembarkation was in Wilshofen, Germany, not too far from Nuremberg and Regensburg. And that last night ended with an exclusive and private Oktoberfest event in a tent, which was really fun. The Ama Serena was beautifully and subtly decorated for the Christmas holiday. Each of the stateroom doors had wreaths hanging on them. The twin balcony stateroom was spacious, and while it might seem silly to upgrade on splurging on a balcony stateroom in the middle of winter when it's cold, what it does afford is more natural light, extra space certainly in the stateroom, and then the bathroom is quite a bit larger than the other staterooms, which is really good for two 6-foot tall plus giants. Before the cruise, I had selected morning and afternoon excursions, but they can be changed on any cruise itinerary. It was necessary on our trip to adjust based on weather and then also some lower water level conditions. I personally enjoyed the unplanned itinerary surprises. There were about 140 of 160 total guests on board, so it was easy to make those adjustments, or it seemed easy for the staff to do that. And the crew kept all the guests well informed along the way. I would have to say that my favorite takeaways were unpacking once while on board, so the ease of that, the relaxed yet luxurious atmosphere, sumptuous meals, sneaking in swimming pool dips each evening before dinner on the upper deck. The swimming pool is heated to 90 degrees, so it's warm, and it was a fabulous way to relax after a full day of exploring. I love discovering a different city or medieval village every day with excellent local guides, and then also adjusting each of the excursion depending upon how committed you wanted to be. I would say AmaWaterways is a perfect mix of high-touch experiences combined with luxury.
Well, thank you all for coming. And I'm with AmaWaterways. I'm the Business Development Manager for the Mid-Atlantic. And I'm going to explain to you why AmaWaterways is the highest rated luxury brand, and a lot of the things that we offer that our competitors don't. And when you go in and talk to Julie and Rochelle, they're going to give you other options. So I'm going to explain to you what we include versus what our competitors don't, so that you can make a great decision when you're in Peace Frog's office as to which river cruise company you choose. Now, we've been very lucky to have Rochelle on board, so she's going to give us a lot of just her input and perspective as well. So without further ado, I'd like to say welcome. And we're going to start with my favorite way, and that's a little video of AmaWaterways and what it's like on board, so it'll put you in the mood to cruise. Rochelle, I hope that brought back some memories and put
Did.
everybody in the mood to cruise. So oceans take you to countries and rivers take you through them. So when you're on the river with us, it's more like a cultural immersion. We park right in the downtown, so it's easy on and easy off the ship. And you essentially double your time on your vacation because it's so easy to get on and off. But I'm going to go over some other things that make us special. But a little fun fact is the ships were originally pulled by ropes and donkeys, and we've paved those pathways. So those are now some of our bike paths. So we say passion, purpose, and innovation are qualities that are special to AmaWaterways, and that comes from our leadership. Rudy, our president and CEO, ironically started another company called Viking and another company called Uniworld, and he tweaked a third company called Avalon. So he's considered the father of river cruising. His beautiful wife, Christine, started in travel in East Germany, and when the wall fell, she went to California and she was the vice president of Viking. And that's where the love story started with her and Rudy. And Gary, our other owner's dad, started a company called Brendan Vacations. It's an Irish tour operator. So chances are, if you ask Julie and Rochelle about Ireland, they might have mentioned Brendan. But Gary's dad sold that company to get the money to start Ama. So Rudy is a ship designer and an architect by trade. And when he wanted to start sailing with us, he wanted to design ships that were different. And what we have is a shallow draft. And that really didn't mean that much to anyone until 2 years ago. There was a drought in Europe that was a 105-year drought. We were the only river cruise company that made all of our sailings. And that's important because of the shallow draft. But then we have all different levels of sun and shade, a running track. In front of that, a heated pool with a swim-up pool bar. Then the deck drops down safely about 4 feet, and you sit out in country club casual seating, and you watch the scenery go by. Another thing I like to point out, because I'm an old travel agent myself, in the lower deck cabins are our D&E category. And when I was on a competitor, they told me, oh, you're in the aquarium cabin. And I didn't know what that meant until I was on board. And then I realized that there was water halfway up my window. And I got to see the bottom of a duck. And that was really neat for about 2 minutes. And then I realized this is not the optimum guest experience. When you're on Ama, our lower cabins are all very high above the water. So you'll never have that experience. But it's all about the little things that make big things. When we build a ship, we pay cash for it. Ama is a very solvent company. We have no debt in any of our ships. We have 3 ships coming out next year, the Ama Sienna, the Ama Lucia, and the Ama Dahlia. All 3 of those have been paid for. We have a 4th one coming out the following year. That's paid in full. So with us, you don't have to worry about the solvency of the company. And those are little things, again, that become big things. And again, Ama too is very into being stewards of our environment. With that, we're very green. Every one of our ships in Europe just won an award for being green. The Ama Cristina won the #1 ship in the world for being green. So again, we think of a lot of things when we operate our company. So we have a few different destinations to think about. We do 2 itineraries in Portugal. That's our 2nd most popular itinerary. We have 3 itineraries this year in France. We do Paris and Normandy, Bordeaux and Provence. Next year, we're moving the Amadante to northern France, and she will do Paris to Le Havre. Then we're moving the Amacello north, so she will do the northern Rhone, and the award-winning Ama Cristina will do Provence. So we have our 4 smallest ships in France. Do you know why we do that? The French rivers are more narrow and more shallow. So if you put too big a ship on the French rivers, it can't turn around. So imagine yourself having this wonderful dinner, wine, and getting off the ship to see the Champs-Élysées or the Eiffel Tower. With us, it's a couple-minute walk. Our competitors with the big ships have to park an hour outside of Paris. So you're on a bus in and a bus out. And again, not a great experience. So you've got to think about right-sized ships on the right-sized rivers. Then we start on the Rhine in Amsterdam. We go all the way to the Rhine-Main Canal, and that connects with the Danube, and we go on the Danube all the way to Giurgiu, which is just outside of Istanbul. We do Vietnam and Cambodia for someone that's looking for a little bit more exotic. And we're going to do Egypt starting in September of 2021. The ship will be done this December, so you don't have to worry about the ship being under construction. She will be done far in advance. And this is selling out like crazy. So you can see the girls at Peace Frogs, because if you're interested in Egypt, we do have that for September of 2021. And then Africa is our very most popular destination. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit further. So I mentioned about our sustainability. We like to minimize our carbon footprint, so we are very much into the environment. Now this is the lounge on the ship, and this is where the action happens. Do you know what the most popular thing is here in the lounge? I think Rochelle must know.
What, the piano player?
Well, in your world, maybe. In the dancers, it is.
Yeah.
But the barista machine.
Oh, right.
People love that. It's fresh ground coffee and all different flavors. And then we have tea and hot chocolate. And every night there's a show here in the lounge. It's done in country club casual. After the show comes Rochelle's piano player. And everybody dances. People do karaoke. But you know what I get asked everywhere I go? Do you have food anywhere on the ship besides the restaurant? And my answer is our other restaurant, the Chef's Table, but we also have food in the lounge. And no one else does that, which is, again, something unique to AMA. I get up and run every morning at 6, so then there's a continental breakfast out with different kind of pastries and fruit and yogurt and cereals. But then we'll switch to soup and sandwiches. There'll be high tea with all kinds of pastries out. We'll have tapas of the day at the bar. During happy hour, we're going to have hors d'oeuvres. And then after the show, while the piano player is playing, we're going to have a buffet. So again, there's always going to be food in the lounge. Also in the lounge is the bar area. So Christine likes to say we're inclusive, but not all inclusive. She thinks not everybody drinks, and she wants to make it fair for those people who aren't drinking. So what we do is champagne at breakfast, beer and wine at lunch and dinner, and it's unlimited fine wine. We have a competitor that charges $200 in a package if you want good wine. With us, that's what's included. Then every night, the hour before dinner is an open bar happy hour. We have menus to choose from. So think about this. When you're talking to the girls at Peace Frogs and pricing us in an all-inclusive competitor, they're going to be about $1,000 more a person than we are. Our drinks are $5 a piece. So and beer's $3.80. If you had 5 drinks a day every day for the week, that's $175. So when you're sitting with Rochelle and Julie and you're pricing everything out, think about that's a lot of drinks to have over and above what we're including. So you have to think about what you're paying extra for that you may or may not need. And this is the library, nice intimate place to read or play games. I like to go in and do my crossword puzzle, nice little fireplaces, but also it's a good place if some group wants to do a little small party. Now this is the average cabin on our ships. Our long ships and everybody else's long ships are the same size. They're 443 feet long and 38 feet wide. We just put a lot less people in a lot bigger cabins. So you can see the real balcony with 2 chairs and a table, the French balcony in the sunroom, and at 210 to 235 square feet, they're the largest in the industry. Now, why is it important that I'm saying it has a real balcony? Well, we have some competitors have this window that goes down and they call it a balcony. It's a window that goes down. This one you can sit outside, watch the scenery go by. Right now we're sailing. We started sailing July 5th, and we started for COVID, we started including room service. People are loving having their dinner or breakfast and lunches out in the balcony. When I was talking with Gary, he said that it's strongly suggested that we continue with the room service, but I'll let Rochelle and Julie know once we make a final decision. But you can see how well appointed they are with marble and granite, all marble bathrooms. Rochelle, were you in this kind of room when you were on board?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't it lovely?
Yeah, it was very spacious, especially because my husband and I are both over 6 feet tall, so we need extra room. So,
And and again, our competitors' cabins are 135 or 170 square feet, and this at 210 makes it a lot more roomy, especially if you're tall like Rochelle and I. Now, we do have ships with connecting cabins, and we do have some ships with triples and quads. The triple is a chair that turns into a bed, and the reason, the intent was for children 4 to 17 are very petite adult. You're noticing the plastic water bottles, and I just said we won a green award. When we started sailing in July, we have biodegradable water bottles. We just didn't get a camera crew to Europe because of COVID, but we will have the biodegradable unlimited in the cabin and on the tours. And this is included for no extra charge. And again, the reason it's important is we do have competitors that charge up to $8 a bottle for water. So there's a lot of hidden costs that we take care of in advance. Now this is the suites. These are the most popular because they have butler service. The butler service includes continental breakfast and champagne and fruit and different floral arrangements. It holds 4 people. So that's a sofa that turns into a bed. Behind the slotted wall is bedding for 2. And there is the real balcony and the French balcony. These are 350 square feet. We have a flat screen in every cabin. Do you know we spend more money on the internet than we do on fuel? It's true. What was happening is people would go on their tours and post all the pictures on Facebook to show their friends back home where they were. And that said, we were noticing our bandwidth was dropping, and we knew we had to tweak it up. So every year the ships go into dry dock and are refurbished January, February, and March. So while they were in dry dock, we made the internet up to a 4G. And then the following year, we connected to our own towers. So it's a seamless internet with first run music, regular TV shows, and the keyboard will get you right online. So this is free. And again, I was on an ocean cruise last May. It was $1.55 a minute for the internet. So there's a lot of hidden charges that you're not going to incur with us. We do have a spa and a beauty salon on every ship. There's a lot of dates that are very special for Peace Frogs because they belong to a company called Travel Leaders. And there's a number of 60 different dates every year where we give Travel Leaders agencies $150 per person on board credit. So when you talk to Rochelle and Julie, you can even look at selecting one of the Travel Leaders dates, so you could use that credit for the spa, the beauty salon, tipping, the gift shop. And we do have a gym on every ship for those who want to work out. And we have a machine here called a kinesis machine, which is essentially a fancy Bowflex if you want to lift weights. Heated pool with a swim up pool bar. It's a lot bigger in person. The 4 smaller ships in France have whirlpools and putting greens. And we keep the pool at 90 degrees. I was on in November of last year, right around Thanksgiving, and we had people in the pool at 2 o'clock in the morning. I did have to find them. It was 2 ladies from Erie, Pennsylvania. And if you're familiar, it's right over from Buffalo. So I'm thinking they had warmer blood, but they were swimming at 2 in the morning. Now, we're really into physical fitness, as I mentioned. All of the ships, except for the 2 in Portugal, have a wellness instructor. We start every day at 7 a.m., with champagne yoga. And the exercise classes go in half-an-hour intervals. There's all different kinds, like core strengthening, circuit training, but they'll go throughout the day, and you'll get it on your AmaCruiser app, or we'll have it in paper form in the cabin. Has no extra cost. The exercise person will also focus on eating and relaxation techniques and things. So you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. Now this, and I hope I'm not tempting if you haven't had dinner, but this is an example of our cuisine, and it's called chaîne de rôtisserie. And I'm sorry for the French people. I speak Spanish, so I might have crucified it, but it's farm to table. Everything is brought fresh every single day. About 4 o'clock in the morning, you're going to smell the beautiful pastries wafting down the hall because our chef is going to make it every day. The hardest thing I have to do every morning is there's a giant wall of pastries. And when I go into that restaurant in the morning and I have to back away from that pastry table, I'm telling you, it's difficult. But that's why I run, so I can eat that. Am I kidding? Am I not kidding, Rochelle? It's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And I can't even pick a favorite. Do you know we even make our ice cream fresh every day? And I don't know if you had a chance to get the cinnamon flavored, Rochelle, but that's my new favorite. Now, we can do any kind of dietary restriction. All you have to do is tell Julie and Rochelle what it is. The only thing we can't do is kosher, and I do apologize to our Jewish friends. The kitchen's too small to have 2 fridges, 2 stoves, and 2 dishwashers. But anything else, let the girls know. Then you'll meet with our chef, and every day the chef will give you menu choices just specifically designed for you. Now, the main dining room is very spacious. We have menu service for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's part of the 5-star service. All of our competitors do a buffet for breakfast and lunch. So again, little things becoming big things. We do have 2 little wine nooks outside the dining room. They're great for private parties. And we've done a lot of birthday parties and anniversaries, and there's no charge to use this as well. And this is the chef's table. It's an alternate dining 15-course wine paired dinner. And again, no charge. 24 people eating here every night, 36 people in the Magna. The chef does the whole prep behind glass, so it's very pristine, and it's one of those do not miss experiences. Rochelle, did you get to eat in here?
Yeah, I did it twice. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And everybody is guaranteed 1 seating, and if there's space, you can come back as many times as you'd like, and there's still no charge. Now, this is another biggie. We do a tour in the morning and a tour in the afternoon. Again, our competitors, they only do a morning tour when we do both. So on our tours, we normally do 20 people. During sailing with COVID, we're doing 6 on a tour so that we can distance properly. Now, our competitors usually do 40. The morning tour and the afternoon tour's main tour is going to come in fast walkers, medium walkers, gentle walkers, and late risers. So you don't have to worry about how fast or slow a tour is going to go. You're going to pick one that goes with your speed. There's also going to be hiking and biking tours and special edition tours. I've gone to a cooking school. I've gone to a castle where the owner was a vintner and a chocolatier. I've done truffle hunting and pretzel making. Everything are different choices, but they're included in the morning and the afternoon. If you were to buy that afternoon tour on our competitors, it's at least $100 a day. We include it. So again, when I mentioned about adding things up, if you did that every day on someone else, it's going to be at least $700. If you're in the company that charges $200 for fine wine, now you're at $900. So again, you're noticing where things can add up where we're including it. Now, something to think of is Christmas markets. It's great walking around drinking your glühwein. That's a hot mulled wine. I always get Christmas ornaments wherever I am for my grandchildren. We get all different kinds of foods from stand to stand. And it's usually from in and around our Thanksgiving or Advent to Christmas Eve. Mekong is more exotic, and you'll visit places like Angkor Wat, that's in Siem Reap, and Halong Bay, and it's just more of a cultural immersion. The ship is beautiful with all hardwood floors, crown molding, twin balconies, pool, and for someone that's done a whole lot of other things and is looking for a little bit different, this is a great choice. Tulip time is the last week of March to the first week of May. It's a round trip Amsterdam. You'll go to Keukenhof Gardens to see the tulips, and Kinderdijk for the windmills, and Antwerp and Ghent. And just for coming, we have 1 sailing on our new ship that's exclusive to Peace Frogs. and it's for the Sienna, and it is March 18th, tulip time, and that's a 2-for-1 special. So no one else is going to have that. It's an exclusive special for Peace Frogs. So you can talk to the girls. It has to be booked by August 31st, but just for you coming tonight, we're going to give you $100 off a person on anything you book within the next 2 weeks. But if somebody's interested in tulip time, this 2-for-1 special is really amazing. Now the Rhine is Amsterdam to Basel, Switzerland, or Basel North to Amsterdam. The wow factor are the castles when you're going through the Rhine Gorge. There's over 30 of them, and the cruise manager narrates. Whether you're going north or south, there's this little town called Rudesheim. Rudesheim is famous for its coffee. So the coffee has got brandy and chocolate and whipped cream, and they set it on fire. So when you're on the top deck listening to the cruise manager narrate, the crew comes out with these silver platters filled with Rudesheim coffee, and you're sipping your coffee and watching the castles. This also goes to Heidelberg, and the Heidelberg Castle is remarkably intact. You're looking at Cologne, which the Cologne Cathedral took over 600 years to build. My favorite tour in Cologne is the Kolsch beer and potato pancake tour. It stops at the cathedral, but they make this beer called Kolsch beer, and it's served in little tiny, almost shot glasses, so it never gets warm. And during the tour, you can have as much of the beer as you want and as much of the potato pancakes as you want. I eat my weight in potato pancakes. They're the best I've ever had. We also take you to Réquillart, France, and that's the inspiration for Beauty and the Beast. So a lot of great choices on these itineraries. The Danube is Budapest to Wilshofen, Germany, or Budapest to Nuremberg, or the reverse. Both itineraries do Vienna. They both do Salzburg for the Sound of Music lovers. But the one difference is the one that does Wilshofen is a little bit more action-packed, because we have our own Oktoberfest tent there. So whether you go in March all the way through the season to New Year's Eve, if you're in Wilshofen, we roll out the kegs, we bring out the dancers, the pretzels. We have a full-blown party, and you have Oktoberfest no matter when you go. The other itinerary that does Nuremberg, you're going to go to a reenactment of the Nuremberg trials, possibly if you choose that. We'll take you to Regensburg, which was the only city in Germany not bombed in World War II. So again, there's a lot of choices for you, and then that's what you do is sit down with Rochelle and Julie and talk about the different choices. Now, while I'm talking about the Danube, another special that we have just for Peace Frogs is the AmaViola Melodies of the Danube on April 5th. And that one is also a buy one, get one free. So if you call another agency, they are not going to have that special. Now, the lower Danube is a little bit more exotic. It will do Budapest to Giurgiu. It's just outside of Istanbul. So you can do a pre or post tour in Istanbul. But you're going to visit the Kissing Rocks, the Iron Gates, Dracula's Castle. This is a great choice for anybody that's looking for a little bit more exotic. RHONE is my favorite itinerary. The Romans conquered this in 004. So there's all kinds of ancient Roman ruins in Arles. There's a mini Colosseum. And it's the inspiration for many of Van Gogh's paintings. The Beaujolais and the Côte d'Rhône wines. You'll see fields of poppy and lavender and August sunflowers. They moved the papacy here for 100 years, so it's art and history and wine and flowers, and that's why it's my favorite. And the Seine is round trip Paris. Remember, we are the only river cruise company in Paris. We'll do Giverny, where you'll see the inspiration for Monet's paintings, the Normandy landing beaches, both American and Canadian. You'll visit Chateau Guillard, which is the home to King Richard the Lionheart's castle, Rhone, where they killed St. Joan of Arc. So again, a great choice. Bordeaux is wine, wine, and more wine. And for wine lovers, it is a dream come true. We take you to a couple wineries in the morning and the afternoon. You do all kinds of tastings, and their tastings are paired with different foods and fruits and pastries. people wanted some different choices too. So they came to us and said, besides the wine lovers, can you add in some historic tours like the rest of your itineraries? So when we start sailing in 2021, there will also be some historic choices besides the wine choices. My girlfriends and I did this itinerary 2 years ago for our 60th birthday, and what a great girlfriends cruise. So I mentioned earlier, Portugal is our most popular destination. Every bend of the river is more pretty. And as you meander down the river, you're going to see all these terraced hills with the grapes on the vine. You'll visit the Matus Castle, or you'll see Salmonaco, where Columbus went to college. In the city of Porto, there's white tiles that make up mosaics of blue and white all over the town. It's just gorgeous. And Africa is our most popular destination. So how we do this is very well thought out. All the itineraries start in Cape Town at the Cape Grace Hotel with the water view. We'll take you to Robben Island. You'll walk in the steps of Mandela. You'll go to Table Mountain and have a picnic or visit a winery. We'll take you on the ship and you'll do game drives for 4 days, morning and afternoon. Then you'll go to Victoria Falls, and we stay at the Victoria Falls Hotel. And you'll do, one of the things I was going to do this, and COVID preempted my vacation, but we were going to do a train and have a romantic lunch on our way to see the falls. Option 1, though, you go home. Option 2, you add in Rovos Rail, which is a train built in 1900 that's really romantic, and you watch the scenery go by. The other itineraries add in Johannesburg for 2 nights with your tours. The first one was the one I had chosen for mine. We're going to do 3 nights in Kruger Park for a mini safari, and you stay in a 5-star resort called Tin Swallow. And then the other itinerary does the luxury tent for 7 nights. So you can mix and match anything at the end. We had a group from not far from me in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, where they wanted everything at the end. So we were able to do that. So little things like that we can customize for you. Ship is beautiful with 14 cabins, 28 people. The minimum cabin is 215 square feet. There's a sun deck with a pool. Now we have a lot of wine cruises, 65, and next in 2022 we're going to have even more. Believe it or not, Charlottesville is home to the King Family Winery, and the King Winery every year is one of our wine hosts. I didn't know if you guys knew that. Yes, we've put the King family on the map. So you can join the King family in 2022. They're not going to be doing one in 2021. They had a death in the family, so they're taking a pause on the wine cruises, but they're coming back. They're already signed up for 2022. But with any of the wine cruises, the wine host does presentations on board. You taste 4 wines in the presentation, 2 Old World wine, 2 New World wine. We also have the Williamsburg Winery every year as a wine host. And from Pennsylvania now, we have the vineyards at Hershey. Most of them are California and Oregon wineries, but we do have some local representation. Now, I mentioned the Ama Magna, and all of the rest of the river cruise ships are 38 feet wide. She's a big girl. She's 72 feet wide. She has 4 restaurants, 5 bars, and a movie theater. And the average cabin is 350 square feet. So let me show you a little video of the Ama Magna. I hope you enjoyed the Ama Magna. Now, she only sails on the Danube. In 2021, she's going to go on the full Danube all the way out to Giurgiu. Now, this is the average cabin. And this is the one I was in. And the thing that really impressed me is there's 6 closets. So my coat had its own closet. But it does have a private water closet and twin sinks in the bathroom and a multi-jet marble shower. Now, the Amadalia is going to be our ship in Egypt. She's under construction. She's going to have a pool, big spacious cabins. And what we're going to do is start off in Cairo, and we're going to be staying at the Four Seasons. You're going to visit some great spots and museums in Cairo, fly down to Luxor. You'll do 7 nights on the ship and fly back to Cairo for a post tour. And I'm going to go over some choices for pre-cruises. You can do Abu Dhabi and Dubai or Jordan, or at the end, you can do Israel. So all of them are great choices. You're going to, after your 3 nights, you're going to fly down to Luxor, and you're going to visit the Valley of the Kings and Queens, the Temple of Whores, the Nubian Village. You'll do Falaka rides, Esna for the Karnak Temple, and the Temple of Hathor. And there's so many different choices. And then you'll be back into Luxor. I was doing one of these with our product manager for Egypt, and funny story, he was saying that this was the Temple of Hathor was originally a whole bunch of swimming pools, and they had pools all the way back 2,000 years ago. They've filled them in with rocks right now, but when you see the archaeological site, it just sounds absolutely exquisite. Something that we're going to talk a little about, I had mentioned that we are sailing. So our first ship sailed on July 5th. Yama Christina is on the Rhine right now. So with that said, we had to put some protocols in place for COVID. So we're in full compliance with anything the EU dictates. We are wearing face coverings. Our tours have gone down to 6 people right now. We have touchless temperature checks, social distancing, sanitizing the luggage. Something I never knew we had, but it's really important right now, is each cabin has its own heating and air conditioning system that uses outside air. We have never used recycled air on the ships. All of the public areas have that same system. So you're always going to have fresh air coming in and the stale air going out. So again, it was never important until now. When we usually do our transfers from the airport to the ship, we usually use big Mercedes buses. Right now, we're putting, if 2 people are traveling together, you're in your own shuttle for just 2 people in your Mercedes. If it's 4, you'll be with 4 people, and it will be the people you're traveling with, so it'll be size appropriate transportation. And again, we're thinking of everything, and we've been sailing for over a month now very successfully. So who's our guest? Our guests are people that want the lap of luxury, but very casual, that want to be in a 5-star floating hotel, that want gourmet meals, that want to travel with like-minded people with special interests. We can do any kind of group. My friends and I did our birthdays. People do gardening groups, art, religion, wine cruises. We do so many different things. All you have to do is let Julie and Rochelle know, and we can customize something. If somebody's traveling by themselves, we do not charge double. We do 1.25%. The single ladies get to sit with the captain on the first night. We have some singles mixers.
One question that had actually come in, because I imagine that most of us watching don't have little kids, but thinking about multi-generational trips, and I'm wondering, is AmaWaterways, I guess, partnering with Disney, because I know that is a Disney. So is that going to carry over to 2021 as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Partner with Disney is long-term. Disney's are full charters. So when Disney has the ship, they bring their playmakers on board. There's 6 to 8 playmakers on board, and they're full charters. So you and Julie will both know if it's a Disney sailing. So if somebody doesn't want to be with children, chances are the other sailings could have children, but it's a very special child that sails on board because of the price point. This is usually a child that's got manners to be in a 5-star hotel or in a dining with like in gourmet dining. We do allow children 4 to 17 on board. People with a lot of children tend to gravitate toward the Disney cruises. Most of the children that do come on board are children that are like 12 to 16. So they're children that have been out and about and know how to behave when they're out in public.
I cruised Christmas. So it was the Thanksgiving break week from Budapest, from Vienna to Germany, and there were quite a few kids actually. I would say probably 10. I think because it was Thanksgiving,
And I
and
would think that.
grandparents, and I would say that was the average age. You know, they could kind of keep to themselves and entertain themselves at the same time. But I was surprised. They all seemed very, you know, like you said, well behaved.
And at this price point, it's children that are very used to traveling.
Yeah.
It's not a child that like is used to going on a Carnival cruise and doing a cannonball in the pool.
One thing that I wanted to, I'm not sure if everyone has actually been on a cruise, and I was talking with my husband earlier, who we did the Danube together, is if you feel motion on board the ship and you don't feel, I'm not sure if anyone in our group tonight has actually been on a river cruise, but you don't feel anything, or I didn't feel anything. Often the ship would move during dinner and they would sort of shuffle the vessels to kind of line them up a little bit differently, and you don't feel anything. You might feel when you go through the lock, which was actually pretty amazing, but other than that, and it's absolutely there's not a sound at all. So I mean, do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because I think, you know, people who haven't been on a river cruise, and if they're motion sickness, might maybe think about that.
And it's very, very smooth. The rivers are really smooth. And honestly, I get very car sick, and I never get sick on the ships. And again, part of it is part of the stabilizers and everything that Rudy has, but we just glide along, and we're always very close to the shore. So it's, if it were rough waters, and in the 6 years I've been with AMA, it's never been rough, we could park to the side very easily. But with us, it's just really smooth sailing and very easy.
Yeah.
Are there, what are the pre-screening measures in place before you even get on a plane or get to the port based on COVID?
What we have to do is we've reduced our capacity. Normally we're at 156 people. Part of the EU guidelines are that we have to have 100 or less on the ship. So we've got that amount of people. They have to fill out 2 different surveys, the primary one and then a secondary survey, and they will be denied boarding if they don't have those completed as to their health. And then the crew is constantly checked, and if they were anywhere 21 days prior to the sailing, they won't be allowed on board. So they're constantly checking, and they are required to fill out both forms.
What do you mean if they were anywhere? What is
anywhere where there's a COVID outbreak? So like right now, we are a COVID outbreak here in the United States. So if a crew member was sailing and could fly from the United States to Europe, we wouldn't let them on board because they were here.
Is there discussion at all about maintaining all these procedures beyond a certain point, you know, which we don't know when that point would be, you know, like the cleaning, the fewer passengers, etc.?
And we have always been spotlessly clean. We now have a sanitation officer on board, and we've gone up to hospital grade sanitation. And we've added all of these hand washers everywhere. And even in the lounge, we have plexiglass sheets between the different groupings of sofas and things. I don't know what they're going to continue. There's discussions, but nothing's written in stone. And again, with the EU, whatever the EU tells us we have to do, we will comply.
Yeah, I have to say from personal experience being on the ship, and I believe that there were 140 out of 160 guests, so it never felt crowded by any means. And we were there in the winter. It was cold, it was cool. There's so much space per passenger as well in terms of on the deck. It never felt crowded, even on the days when everyone was on the ship and we were going through the Volca Valley. I thought there's a lot of opportunity for fresh air and getting outside without feeling that it was crowded, I would say.
Perfect. Thanks, Kathie.
No, thank you for inviting me into your homes, and I look forward to coming back into the office. I always do a little shopping while I'm there too.
Thanks, Kathie, and I'll call you tomorrow.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. Everyone have a lovely evening and a lovely weekend, and stay safe and well. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.